some of the biggest records of the time. You had The Who doing Tommy, Quadrophenia, Pink Floyd doing The Wall. One of my personal favorites is Genesis doing The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. It was kind of like, I think, a new thing, all kind of stemming out of Sgt. Pepper, Lonely Hearts Club Band. That was kind of like the first sort of like broader like conceptual thing than the Beach Boys were doing with Pet Sounds. That's going way back, but it's just really exciting to us, to write something that is not just a collection of songs, but it's kind of a bigger thing. And we get very excited about having reoccurring musical themes throughout a record and getting to really play with musical motifs throughout it. It's a lot of fun. So, and we're thankful that for us, our fans are kind of into it. And they kind of dig deeper into the stories, probably deeper than we really do sometimes. To where they ask you a question, and you're kind of like, I'm not sure. That's a little. I've never thought about it like that before, but I think it's fun. Very roughly, it's about a guy constantly questioning his reality. He's starts with him going into this self-induced coma, going to all these different worlds that seem familiar, seems like he's a part of them, but they're very strange places. And it's basically near the end of the record you find that he's like in this deep coma where he's not going to come out. So it's him kind of coming to terms with that reality after being shown all these other kind of weird realities and feeling like he has a choice to get out of it, but he really doesn't. And then it ends with him dying, in a puff of velvet smoke, as Tommy describes it. So it's an interesting visual how Tommy he uses the idea of velvet throughout the record, and it represents death. It's not an immediate correlation. A lot of people have asked us about it, but the last song, "Life in Velvet," it's kind of that's what it is. People have asked if there's gonna be a continuation. You're like, the guy dies. No, that's it. With the actual writing, a lot of it happens at home. We'll do some arranging on the spot with all of us, but we've never been a band that can just jam and then just a 15-minute long crazy song happens. It's very tightly organized ahead of time, and with this one there were full songs that were kind of coming in totally done, and it was nice because the first time we were in the rehearsal room together, we had most of the record charted out up to that point, so it was really easy to put together. I think because we were trying to do something that was new and a little different, there was such an overflow of ideas. Like, there were so many ideas that were really good, but once you're knee-deep in the record, you're kind of like, I don't actually know where that would fit, And then you're in the position of, well, do we try to make it fit just to make it fit? And that's the old idea, That was kind of how we wrote songs in the past, where it was kind of like, we're throwing everything in, and we're going to find a way to make it work. Tommy, throughout the Parallax touring cycle, kind of like mentioned, maybe just wanted to scream less, wanted to do more with his voice. And it's just kind of in the back of our heads writing music. And for me, a lot of the stuff I was writing on piano and guitar, keyboard, whatever. So when you're writing on like piano or acoustic guitar, you're not necessarily writing like I don't know, death metal riffs or whatever. So I think we have 6 records that really explored that territory a lot, and it was time to really explore the other side of our music that's kind of been there from the beginning, and then since Alaska, maybe like the 10 years since we've had this lineup. You have to grow and have to evolve as composers and arrangers. So. No more options to go. We're paying tribute to it on the tour we're doing right now. We have a special little homage to it. It's been fun to reflect because it also marks 10 years of Blake, Dusty, and I being in the band, and really with that record to look at how far we've come, I don't think it makes sense at this point in our career to play the whole thing. I don't know if we really could. It'd be quite an undertaking. But it's fun to find the things that still make sense with the band that we've become now, and tie that into our set, and that's what we're able to do. I think the fans are digging it. My mom was a music teacher, so that my introduction to music was classical music, and then musicals. They were just always going in the house, and I got to finally be in the pit for musicals when I was in high school, and the community theater, and it really is it's a cool thing because you get to see the music and the story connect on a whole other level with people on stage. And with Tommy putting more of an emphasis on singing on this record, really digging into the characters, and there's a lot of weird characters on the record where you've got the main character, but he's going through all these different worlds. He's voicing cannibals and crazy doctors and even nurses at a point, so singing as male and female characters all over, it really allowed him to really get into it. And so when you're writing the music, because the lyrics are are complementary to the music, it was kind of with that sense of theater in mind, having the big parts and the really dramatic mellow parts, and really just playing off making each section a bold statement and leaving room for the vocals, which in the past our it's very dense, so we kind of wanted to do more with less on this album, and the theater was definitely an influence. I think we're definitely going to have a whole new line of visuals to go along with the story and try to make it more of completely interactive affair where you can hear the music, Tommy's telling the story, but you can also watch and see the story unfolding. For us right now, we do have a video show going with us, where we have images from all the albums that we're playing stuff off of, and fun light show to go along with it. That's something that's kind of evolved over the years, and it's fun. We're huge fans of the stuff that Pink Floyd did back in the day and their visuals and how they were able to bring their show to life, and that's a very exciting and important part of what we're trying to do, especially because for us on stage, we're so in our instruments and we're trying to replicate every night, what we did on record, that maybe we're not the most exciting band to watch if you're not a musician. We're not jumping around or anything, so we like having that extra visual element. There's always room for improvement. I mean, the life as a progressive musician, it's a lifelong journey. We don't really consider ourselves ever in a comfort zone. You know what I mean? We're always trying to be the genre progressing, moving forward, doing something new. And for us, we really wanted to take a step forward and a leap forward. And I think that's what's so exciting. I look at bands like King Crimson and Robert Fripp right now, and he's been actively pushing boundaries and exploring, different areas of avant-garde and within the rock, metal, progressive world, whatever, since the 60s. And he's still doing it, and it's awesome. So that's very inspiring to us and to me as a musician. There's always we're always going to find room for improvement and stuff, but with the record that we did, it's exactly what we wanted to do, and I feel like that's the first time I can really say that. Colors at the time was a record that was exactly what we were trying to do at the time as well, and that felt great. And that's a record that we still celebrate, and the fans still celebrate a lot. And the Coma record to us was exactly what we were trying to do. All the way down to the mix of the record with Jens Bogren in Sweden. It just turned out exactly like we were hoping. was really easy and a lot of fun, and the recording was really easy. It was just a very relaxed session. I think that the most pressure was on Tommy, and not from us, just from himself. He's very hard on himself, typical like low self-esteem like lead singer. And you constantly have to be like, dude, we're 7 albums in now. You like what you do is great, even though you're doing something new and a little different. Like we know it's gonna be awesome, and it was.